All right, let's get right into it. In old school RuneScape, there's this kind of wild idea. To build one of the most terrifying player killers out there, you've got to start by making them incredibly weak. Seriously. It's a whole strategy built on being vulnerable, on trading your shield for a much, much bigger sword. Today, we're tearing down one of the most legendary, high-risk builds in PvP history, the One Defense Pure. So really, the big question here is, how in the world do you build an absolute killer in the wilderness by deciding from the get-go to never train your defense? I know, it sounds completely backward, but you're about to see how every single part of this strategy fits together in a very deadly game of chess. And well, here it is, the answer. The cornerstone, the absolute foundation of this entire philosophy. You lock your defense skill at level 1, permanently. That one decision is going to dictate every other choice you make, from the quests you do to the gear you wear. It is the one defining sacrifice. All right, so this all feeds into what's known as the glass cannon philosophy. Let's break down exactly why making yourself this fragile can, ironically, make you so incredibly dangerous. So what even is a One Defense Pure? Well, it's pretty much what it says on the tin. It's a character that completely skips any and all defense training, so you can pour every last potential point into raw, overwhelming damage. The goal here isn't to outlast your opponent in a long, drawn-out fight. Nope, it's to take them off the map before they even get a chance to realize how weak you are. So, the huge question is, why would you do this? Why be so fragile? It all boils down to the game's combat level formula. See, your combat level is made up of a bunch of your skills, but defense is weighted really heavily in that calculation. By keeping it at 1, you're gaming the system. You're artificially holding your combat level down. This gives you what a lot of people call an unfair advantage, letting you hunt players in lower combat brackets who just can't compete with your endgame weapons and maxed out damage. You're basically a heavyweight boxer fighting in a featherweight match. Okay, but a glass cannon is totally useless if it just shatters before it can even fire, right? So how does this build actually survive? It runs on this powerful 2-stroke engine, pure overwhelming melee for all your offense, and tactical magic for, well, everything else. And this really paints the perfect picture of that 2-part strategy. On one side, you got pure, unadulterated melee power designed to just end fights in a few seconds. And on the other, you got a serious investment in magic. Not for attacking, but for tactical survival. We're talking magic defense, we're talking utility, control. These 2 pillars work together perfectly. For the offense side of things, the goal couldn't be simpler. You get your strength to 99, period. Every level you gain just juices your max hit, turning your character into a damage-dealing machine. You pair that with 60 attack, which is the sweet spot that unlocks those iconic PvP weapons like the Dragon Scimitar and the Dragon Dagger. It's all about hitting as hard as you possibly can. Now, this is where it gets really clever, because this build totally flips the script on what magic is for. You are not an offensive mage, you are not casting Ice Barrage, your magic level, that's your real armor. See, the game calculates magic defense using 70% of your magic level and only 30% of your defense level. So a high magic level is absolutely critical. Hitting 85 gives you a really solid magic defense bonus, and most importantly, it unlocks Teleblock, the spell that stops your target from teleporting away. So, we've talked about the 2 pillars you do train, melee and magic. But now we've got to talk about the most unique, the most defining choice of this entire build. We're getting into the calculated sacrifice, the one skill you intentionally, strategically, and completely ignore, ranged. And I'm not exaggerating here. To make this specialized build work at its absolute peak, you will never, ever gain a single point of ranged experience. It stays at level 1, forever. This isn't some accident or a weakness, it's a core feature of the design, and it's what truly separates this pure from almost every other build in the game. So why go to such an extreme? Well, just look at the difference. First, combat level. Every ranged level you get just inflates your combat level for no good reason. You get pushed into tougher brackets, fighting specialists, but you're not a ranged specialist yourself. It's just wasted time and XP. But honestly, the bigger deal is the practical benefit of skipping it. Your inventory is clean. You're not carrying arrows, you don't have a backup bow, you're not fumbling with armor switches that take up all your space. All that room is now free for more potions, for a life-saving brew, and for what really matters. Blighted teleblock sacks to trap your prey, and a laser-focused set of melee special attack weapons. Your whole combat strategy is streamlined. Your brain isn't trying to manage a 3-way combat triangle, it's focused on one thing and one thing only: perfect, decisive melee weapon switches. You can react faster and hit harder. It's pure efficiency. And look, this quote from a classic guide just nails it. This build is not about being a jack of all trades. It throws versatility right out the window in favor of absolute mastery of one thing. It's a specialist's build, plain and simple, designed to win through a very specific strategy, just pure, overwhelming melee force, backed up by tactical magic. Okay, so we've made the sacrifices. We've ignored defense, and we've completely thrown ranged in the trash. So, what's the payoff? The payoff is complete and utter domination of a very specific combat bracket. Let's look at the finished product. And here it is, the final blueprint. You've got 60 attack for your weapons, 99 strength for just insane damage, 1 defense to keep that combat level down, 85 magic for your actual defense and utility, and of course, 1 range to keep your build as lean and optimized as it can possibly be. Every single point here is spent for maximum impact. And when you plug all of those stats into the combat formula, you land right here. The level 88 to 92 combat bracket. And that is not a random number. That is the strategic sweet spot. It's a hunting ground full of perfect targets who are totally unprepared for the kind of firepower you're about to unleash. And this, right here, is the ultimate prize for all that careful planning. Being in this bracket means you can attack players from level 81 all the way up to 99. You're going to find people training Slayer, people with mid-tier gear who think they're safe, players who are just not expecting to run into someone with 99 strength and a backpack full of spec weapons. But of course, no build is invincible. To really master the 1 defense pure, you've got to be brutally honest about what it's good at, but also about its huge, undeniable weaknesses. Time for a reality check. This image just perfectly sums up the entire build. It is the ultimate trade-off. You are knowingly putting all your eggs in the offense basket. You accept that you're fragile, that you can be killed fast, in exchange for the power to deliver knockout blows that can end a fight in a single tick. The upsides are obvious, and they are powerful. Your burst damage is just incredible. We're talking Dragon Dagger specs into a Granite Maul hit before they can even blink. Your high magic level makes you surprisingly tough against mages. You get to feast on weaker, less optimized players, and, like we hammered on, that streamlined inventory makes your combat style clean, fast, and deadly. But the downsides, they are very, very real. This build has a massive Achilles heel, ranged. A good ranger who knows how to keep their distance and just kite you, hitting you from afar while you can't touch them, they can tear you apart, and there is nothing you can do about it. You're also one-dimensional. If your big melee attack fails and they survive the burst, you have no plan B. You can't just pull out a bow to finish them off. And all of this takes a ton of skill. You have to be a master of prayer flicking and combo timing to survive, because one mistake, one missed prayer, and you're dead. You have 0 armor to save you.
So, after all that, if you're thinking this high-risk, high-reward path sounds like your kind of fun, here is a simple, actionable guide to building your very own 1 defense pure.
Okay, first, plan your quests like your life depends on it. The OSRS Wiki is going to be your best friend. One wrong quest reward giving you a little defense XP can completely ruin the build. Second, get those offensive stats up. That's going to be the main grind. Third, and I really can't say this enough, you have to completely skip ranged, not a single level. And finally, you have to master the mechanics. Your survival isn't about your armor, it's about your personal skill at timing prayer switches and special attacks perfectly. And really, that brings us to the final thought here. The 1 defense pure is so much more than just a set of stats. It's a whole strategic philosophy. It makes you ask the question, in a game like this, is true power found in being a perfectly balanced, well-rounded fighter, or is it found in sacrificing everything, defense, versatility, safety, for one single, overwhelming, undeniable strength? This build makes a pretty powerful argument for the latter.